Good afternoon, 3:45 here in the middle of America. I've got another shipper one box, to be specific. I don't know who makes those, but it's 14 by 14. I can break it down 12, 10, or 8 inches high. I'm going to use all 14 inches because that's what the height of my layer is on my palette of boxes. But there's some extra stuff here. I don't know where I got all this from. Most of it, I guess, came through the offices. It's New York City-based, not here. But as you saw, let's start with the two titles I put in the thumbnail. One is a classic. Back when DC started their own book publishing division with those graphic albums and the science fiction stuff they did, which includes the George R. Martin adaptation. They did this series of hardcovers about that time of their 50th anniversary. So this is the greatest Superman stories ever told. There's the back cover, which is nice. That's a really nice use of that blue. Originally, now I'll read the issues to you because, again, this is a pretty good collection. They're not difficult to find. They're not too pricey. But this is 0930289293, originally priced at $19.95, back in 1987. Of course, this is from the Jeanette Condic Giordano era. That is a John Byrne, Ken Stacy cover, designed by Keith Wilson, dedicated to Siegel and Schuster. Nice. And just to go brief down, let's see. You have Superman versus Luthor from 1940, all the way up to The Secret Revealed, Superman number 2, 1986. Superman versus the Archer. What if Superman ended the war? And Look magazine. Wow. Look was a competitor to Life magazine at that point, I believe. Mysterious Mr. Mxyzptlk, Origin of Superman. Girl of Steel, Clark Kent's college days, The Super Key to Fort Superman. The Battle with Bizarro, The Girl from Superman's Past, Superman's Other Life. The Night of March 31st, The Death of Superman. The Amazing Story of Superman Red and Superman Blue, that's a classic. The Forever People, Must There Be a Superman, which I think is also another classic. For the Man Who Has Everything, definitely a classic, Alan Moore. And The Secret Revealed, as I mentioned, which was from the post-crisis era. Let me just show you that Look magazine, because I don't think most people have ever seen that. Two pages. Superman. So there's page 1 of the story. And basically, again, which is quite amazing, he grabs Hitler and Stalin. Wait, what year was this? Pardon me. 1943. League of Nations. 1943. Was the League of Nations still even in existence at that? Anyway, and of course the judge says, last panel, Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin, I pronounce you guilty of modern history's greatest crime, unprovoked aggression against defenseless countries. 1943, I don't know. But anyway, before DC started their own publishing division, this was, according to the ISBN, this was their 30th book that they published under their own house. There is, from the era of the first movie, Superman the Motion Picture, there is an oversized book, a little taller, I guess maybe 12 inches, 9 by 12 maybe, hardcover. I think it has a puffy cover to it, I'm not sure. But that is like the predecessor to this, has a lot of great stories in it too. But these greatest blank stories ever told from that era, pretty good collections of pretty good anthologies of stories. Of course, the problem is since The Crisis era, you get fewer standalone stories, so that you only have similar anniversary stories now, like the 70 years or 75 years of whoever. I kind of find a good story for the New 52 because it's all interconnected. There's very few standalone stories, and they just don't collect very well as a standalone story. Some don't even collect well as arcs because, like with Superman, it was over 4 or 5 different issues. Or other series. So anyway, the other one, which I grabbed because I do have a strong interest in fable, mythology, and folklore, is Arabian Nights, illustrated by Renee Bull. This has a hardcover. It has been, fortunately, in the box, it got twisted a little, as you can see. Right, I know. Still in one piece. This is Kala Editions out of Mineola, New York. If you are so inclined, 978-1606-600085, part of Dover Publications. Of course, CalaEditions.com, CALLA. Dover Publications, of course, is that major reprint house, which does a lot of good stuff, but I guess this is their highfalutin, put on a bookshelf, impress your friends. But does it even say when the original edition was done? Yes, this is published in 2010. Constable and Company Limited in 1912. So we have a good idea of. There are plates in here, it looks like. Yes. And I'm not exactly sure who did illustrations, as well as numerous spot illustrations. Let's see. Here's a good example of 2 of them. Okay. This edition is 335 pages. So it's a good introduction to it. Don't know if it's the full thing. Right next to that, standing up. Both of these are standing up because they're oversized. Also, let's talk about mythology. We have the George O'Connor series of Olympians. And I think this is almost a full set. I have extra copies. So there's Zeus, there's Athena, Hades, Apollo, Aphrodite, Ares, and Hera. This is 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. I suspect, let me show you the cover. Most libraries should have these, although they've been out for a while, so they might not have been. Look at that spot varnish there on the golden apple. That is nice. Great artist. Great guy to read everything he publishes. And then on the other side, we have Gravity Falls Journal 3. One thing I noticed while the cartoon was still on the air, some characters. Now, in most animation, characters will have 3 fingers and a thumb, like The Simpsons, because it's easier to animate. More realistic animation will have 5 fingers. And as you can see here, there's 6. And I noticed that when I was watching the cartoons, is that some of the characters in the background of Gravity Falls had 5 fingers, and then of course you saw this, which was a 6 fingers. I thought, who are those 5-finger people? But according to here we go. But according to the creators, that was not a deliberate thing. Although, who knows? Let's see if there's a good picture in here of. Yep, Abel has 4. The gnomes have 5. Dipper has 4. So anyway, let's just take this off. Oh, yes. Well, okay, so it's interesting. So there is the actual cover. Nicely done, right? But from the desk of Fiddleford H. McGuckick, the blueprints of the Gideon bot. Wile E. Coyote would be proud. What's that in the middle? The portal. Mattress springs, laptop, emergency washboard. Air-filled jugs for flotation. Sea Monster 1.0. So, sorry, got lost in. This is very easy to find. Was $20 back then. Good show to watch, especially if you like codes. Now that was on the side. Okay, so I got piles upon piles on here because I had to fill up this box. And it's a square box, so it doesn't really fit books too well. So we'll just go these piles really quick. The Awesome Book of Bible Comics from Harvest House. Black and white. Really modern. So a cool cartoony style. A lot of text, unfortunately. A lot of text boxes, which is kind of a no-no in comics. But hey, it works. Most of those people, it works and people read it. Good. All right, forgot about that. Misfits of Avalon, The Future and the Wind. Kel McDonald. Quite a few of her works. This is Dark Horse. Ooh, Spongebob Comics. Silly Sea Stories. Yes, there's Spongebob Comics. Stopped publishing, of course, once Bongo stopped publishing. But good stuff. The free comic book day issues are usually some of the best of each year. But people don't realize there's SpongeBob comics there. A lot of them. I think they went up to like 80, maybe almost 100 issues, and a ton of Simpsons comics. Oh man, Surfside Girls: The Secret of Danger Point. This is a top shelf book. Middle grade. Zen Pencils. One of those web comics that broke out. This is from AMP, which is the kids division of Andrews McMeel. Although I don't know if this is really. Oh, this is a dummy. Sorry. What this is a dummy meaning they slapped a cover on another book to show you publishers, distributors, booksellers, whatever, what it would be like. Because inside we have Snoopy to the rescue. I was thinking, and of course they did these wonderful, harkening back to the old Holt Reinhardt collections of Peanuts. So, grab it anyway. Here we have Witch Boy, which is a great story. Scholastic. We have Afar, Leila Del Duca, Kit Seaton, Image Comics. Oh, this was a fun one. Got to see what she's done lately. Newsprints. Also from Scholastic. So again, your library should have a copy of it. You'll be able to get it fairly quick, easy. Dream Jumper, Book 2, Curse of the Harvester. Also Scholastic. And now we have, yes. One thing I do for the Comics Beat website is I like to analyze. I'm an armchair architect, so I like to analyze conventions, especially when they announce a new show. And so convention centers are on one of the things I like to read about. And they're usually white elephants, just like a football stadium. But here we have Convention Center Follies, Haywood T. Sanders, who is critical, very critical of the idea of using it for economic development. In-depth studies of Chicago, Atlanta, and St. Louis. A probing look at a so-called economic panacea. Convention Center Follies dissects the inner workings of America's convention center boom, provides valuable lessons on government, local business growth, and civic redevelopment. He is professor of public administration at the University of Texas at San Antonio. 592 pages. This is a review copy. University of Pennsylvania Press. But generally, yeah, there's usually like a acreage war between convention centers because they got to be bigger and they got because they're missing out on shows. Even new Las Vegas Convention Center, and that's not really in Las Vegas; it's outside Paradise. But even Las Vegas Convention Center is expanding because they're saying there are some shows they can no longer accommodate. They don't have room for them. McCormick isn't doing that. They're pretty much full, and they're huge. They're actually 4 convention centers in Chicago. But a lot of these other large cities are in competition with each other because they say, hey, we gotta have more space. Of course, since COVID, that's all out the window. Even before COVID, when everything was being done online, I mean, a lot of business was being done online. A lot of trade shows just didn't have a reason to exist anymore, except for tourism and a chance to get some free swag and maybe get invited out to some dinners. But a lot of the ordering, especially like at BookCon, Book Expo America, a lot of that business was done before. So you didn't really have a need. Was required to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to exhibit at these shows. And of course, the audience isn't as big because you don't need to go because they've already seen stuff online. This has been exacerbated even more where now you're having even Comic-Cons online this year because most of the stuff you can broadcast. The thing with Comic-Cons and such is that in consumer shows is the retail component. I go to Comic-Cons to discover new things and to buy rare stuff like, the greatest Superman stories ever told. But so if your locality is saying, hey, we got to expand our convention center, go visit the public hearing and tell them why they shouldn't. Omaha does a really good job. They built it. There's no need to expand it because they rarely fill it up. But it works well. It's making money, paying off the bonds. They have the arena, which brings in a lot of concerts that originally didn't come to Omaha because the Civic Auditorium was a piece of crap. The convention center, we have ballrooms in there. It's working pretty well. Here we have from Know Yourself Comics, Time Skaters. I have issues 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll show you this. I guess it's time travel skateboards. I don't know. There's an ISBN on one of these. Excuse me, serial number. Yeah, for magazines. Get your copies at knowyourself.com. So I don't know what they've done since. There's a Dr. Bonafide, which I guess is nonfiction. Know Yourself Academy. I should look that up. I like nonfiction. Bones of the hand, arm, and shoulder. Bones of the foot, leg, and pelvis. Good cover design. Bones of the rib cage and spine. Bones of the head, face, and neck. Hopefully he's collected those into a graphic novel. Because I think that would work pretty well in libraries. So yeah. There's comics, and then there's whatchamacallit, factual back matter in the back. So yeah. I don't know what these retailing for, but again, I bought them because yeah. Here we have Amulets #1, the Stonekeeper. He's about ready to finish this. Great series. National bestseller. But sorry. Bird and Squirrel. No, it's Bird and Squirrel on Fire. No idea what volume this is. Oh, looks like it's a 4th volume. Fun cartoony characters. Bunny vs. Monkey Book 2 by Jamie Smart. This is a $8 book. Pretty thin, but not bad. One of these other Scholastics, $12.99, $9.99, so very affordable. Also on that pile we have Uku, The Inner Chambers, Fumi Yoshinaga from Viz Media, his signature. Nice accessible artwork. Adult manga. I have volumes 1, volume 2. Volume 5. Nice. Very good cover design on that, man. They come out? No, it's solid. So those are French flaps. Also in this pile, we have 101 Things I Learned in Advertising School. Tracy Arrington and Matthew Frederick. Again, I like these how-to. This is from threeriverspress.com. It's an $18 book then. But I also have, again, because of architecture and comics, I am interested in design. Most people pick medium. People don't want to seem cheap, but they also don't want to overspend. When faced with a roster of unfamiliar choices, most people will purchase a product with a middle-tier price, or at minimum, the second least expensive one. For this reason, the next lowest priced meal and the second cheapest bottle of wine on a restaurant menu should have the highest profit margin. Call out the audience only if it's in trouble. Subaru finds its core audience. And these are font is tone of voice. For example. Okay. Admitting flaws elevates credibility. They use the Think Small campaign of Volkswagen, specifically the Wilt Chamberlain, trying to fit into a Volkswagen. They said it couldn't be done. It couldn't. So, nice little how-to book here. 2 Blu-rays I grabbed because they're superhero. I probably will never watch these. They're mint in box. We have the complete second season of Supergirl Blu-ray in digital. And the complete third season of Gotham Blu-ray in digital. Includes musical pieces and his hilarious gag reel. Includes new supervillains, bonus content, and more. Yep. Okay. Now. Oh, that's how I did it. How I packed this box originally is because these were books, and this is square, I was able to make a square around it, you know. Like so. And then there. And having a hole in the middle. So, of course, at the end, I kind of ran out of space on it. So, and then on one side, that pile, I just stood the books on. So, yeah, let's just go through these. I'll just go to the bottom of the box here on this one. I Am a Hero Omnibus number 2 from Dark Horse. 2 volumes in 1. Good value, too. This is $19.99 for... I think these are even paged. No, it's not paged, but look, a nice satisfying chunk there. I Am Hero Volume Omnibus 1. Zombie Apocalypse. Right. Or firearms are illegal in Japan, but he's got one. So I think there's another one where they have samurai swords. Takes place up in the Northern Island, up near the hot tub monkeys. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to pack these, but I got that pile over there. So okay, on the other side we have an ATA Adventure Team Taekwondo, Ara's Rocky Road to White Belts. Rodale Kids. An action-packed graphic novel series that teaches important life and character-building skills through the principles of martial arts. Oh, this is a promo. A cute way of doing it. A little mini comic. A Very Baby Mouse Christmas from Jennifer and Matthew Holm. Great stuff. Also from that team, Squish, Brave New Pond. Your library definitely should have. Let's go to the kids section. Here we have a blat of the Babysitter's Club, Dawn and the Impossible 3. Moe Manifesto, an insider's look at the world of manga, anime, and gaming. This is a sample, but it has a Japanese barcode on the back. So I guess maybe Tuttle is a Japanese publisher, so we'll use a Japanese instrument. See the 4 right there? That's a country code. 0 and 1 is usually Anglo-American, and now, you know, Australia, New Zealand. The 978 tells the UPC, that's a UPC code, followed by publisher number, book number, and a check digit. That's how that works. So here you go. For example, not bad for $16. Okay. Ooh. Here we have The Bad Guys, Volume 5, and Intergalactic Gas. Again, popular in school and kids' libraries. LOL, a load of laughs and jokes for kids by Craig Yo. Another good friend of mine. I'll say good friend. Good guy. Friend of mine. Good guy. Great comics historian. Almost everything he is involved with is well worth a read. The latest thing he's working on is a book on premium free comics. Which teacher sends the most notes home? The music teacher. Why did the apple go to the school nurse? It felt rotten. What do prisoners eat in jail? Celery. Riddle me this. Why is hot faster than cold? Because you can catch a cold. Yes, I'll be here all week, folks. Try the Pepto, please, man. Okay, so I'm halfway done in this box. The card goes around. But we have a little mystery here on the third pile. And it's an old bag. Special Wizard of Oz edition. Opening. And on the back is Romeo. He jests at scars that never felt a wound. But soft footlight through one window breaks. It is the east and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief. That thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks, to the fair stars in all the heaven. Having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheeks does shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eye in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright. Yeah. That Shakespeare, he sure writes purty. Okay, here we have Marvel Comics Digest, produced in cooperation with Archie Comics, because they do digest comics better than, I would say better than most. They're the only ones who really do digest comics. But here we have number 7, the Avengers featuring Ant-Man and the Wasp. Oops, can you read that? There you go. And again, this was a bi-monthly title every 2 months. What they would do is they would collect stories, usually self-contained stories, sometimes 2 or 3 parters. Reduce them down. For example, here's the Creature from Cosmos. And I want to say about 12 stories or so. Reprints, covers, some modern, some older. Excuse me. Into, I think I calculated it was like 108 pages. This is how much was it? $7 a few years ago, less than 5 years ago. Big satisfying chunk of 100 pages. Now, double this, and you get a comic book size. So that's a 52-page comic for $7. Whereas a comic book, 32 pages, would cost you $3 to $4 on a newsstand, if you could find them on a newsstand. Now you have to go to a comic shop. Oh, wait. And then on the other side here, we have, I don't know why I grabbed this, but John Hollands, the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. 65-card deck and guidebook. Published by, published this. This was a $22 set. Lifestyles. There's the logo. I don't know who did that. Over there, I thought it was like, what is this, a Christian publication? Psychic medium John Holland imparts techniques that he's practiced himself and taught in his workshops. Right. And I guess the illustrator is John Matson. So anyway, I don't know. Not big into Taro. The universe tends to laugh at me, so again, If I did do a tarot deck, it would probably be a faithless, unreliable narrator. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Other than that, we have Slightly Bent, Please Destroy My Enemies by Michael Sweater. This looks like it's self-published, $7 book. I say that because there we go. There's the barcode. There's his contact information. Silversprocket.net, 2016. This is the second book under that Isman. Set of Ismans. Okay, I'll start piled on there. Yes, we have Overlord. Nice style. This is Yen Press, older teen, LV, $13 book, which is a little pricey for that size of manga, but maybe not. Pretty decent artwork though, man. Look at those screens. Things they can do with computers nowadays, right? And then, I teased it earlier. Here's the actual book. Babysitter's Club, Volume 5, Family Impossible 3. Again, the public library should have copies. Extra copy of that because we got tons of them through the book office. Here we have Coco, Cinema Story comic from Joe Books. Again, these are just screen grabs with basically fumetti with word balloons added to it. This was a $15 book. These sold great. The Frozen one of their first ones, sold really well. I'm not sure what Joe Books Limited is doing anymore. They got out of the comics business. But they do a lot of these center stories. JoeBooks.com if you want to take a look. Not bad. I mean, the paperback, so I don't know how well they've done. Here, we have The Amazing True Story of a teenage single mom. One of the first books to really break out of great memoir comic, originally published in 1998. I do have the original somewhere. I think in hardcover it was published. But again, true story. And it's, I think Hyperion, which is Disney, published the original. But it could, yeah, it was memoir comics before comics really even existed in bookstores. Here we have, I should get her to sign this. Renee Tegelmeyer's Ghosts, which is a Blatt. I, of course, got an advanced copy from some trade show, so I got to read it before just about everybody else. Read it on the airplane. Here we have Graveyard Shakes, another Scholastic graphics book, $13. Almost every graphics title out there is fairly easy to get. I think most libraries would probably just have a standing order. Here we have Coco, a story about music, shoes, and family. This is the novelization. Beautiful, great design. This is all, you can feel it actually. This that second ink on there is almost, yeah, it is. It's a varnish, but it's a very, I'm going to see it on there, I guess. It's a very rough varnish. So all this color on top of that black, that's a spot varnish. And yeah, the inside spot illustrations are basically the same. But again, as far as movie novelizations go, this is a pretty nice edition, and for only $11. Anything in the back matter? Oh, the Rivera family tree. For you big fans out there, there's the whole layout. Great movie. I need to learn that song one of these days. What else we got in here? We have product information using care manual for Scavolini. I think I grabbed this. Oh, I know why I grabbed this because this is comics. This is the English edition. Here's their in-house barcode. And what this is, it's out of Italy. And these are sinks. Here's the reason why I bought it. Because, like the IKEA catalogs, they are comics and wordless comics. Also, Lego does the same thing. Yes, Lego manuals for comics. And this is how to assemble various toiletry and books. Swing mirror unit. Yeah, they even have word balloons. Look at that. No, they're not word balloons. They're just, well, they kind of are word balloons. But they're more like blow-ups. And this is, yeah, how to assemble all sorts of different, maybe this is a whole set of something. Oh, there's a good one. Cutaway in the sink. It's almost like an anatomy. So, I don't know. I think this, I don't know where I found this, where I came through. There's another number there. But again, it's comics. Nonfiction comics to that. Here's another blat for Swing It Sunny, a memoir from with Jennifer and Matthew Holm. True story. Part of Bibliotherapy, Memoir Comics. Here we have Star Wars Jedi Academy New Class by Jarrett. I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry. Krozowska. Sketches mostly. He's also done some memoir comics for classics. This whole series, the Jedi Academy series, is lots of fun. It's a diary. It's a hybrid comic, sort of a diary comic. Excuse me. And yeah. And then another thing I like, another thing I'm interested in, is Antarctica and islands in general, like St. Helena. But Antarctica, Guide to the Wildlife, Edition 7 from Brat. $25.99. Go Pico. Fully, nice glossy illustrations. It is a field guide, for example. There's some information on the Emperor Penguin. They have an early, let's just see. So discovering and exploitation, terrestrial plants and insects, marine invertebrates, fish, birds, mammals. There's only 2 mammals, not counting humans. Seals and whales. Dependency, South Georgia, Falkland Islands. Glossary of snow and ice. Yes, there are different words for ice. Anchor ice, Bergy bit, all the way down to tongue. Tabular berg. Tabular berg, man. That's a flat top iceberg. They formed by calving from the ice shelf and show horizontal banding. Monster tabulars. Oh, dude. Calvings with a linear dimension of more than 20 kilometers from the great Antarctic ice shelves of the Ross and Weddell Seas are classified according to their origins and history. In October 2017, the Larsen ice shelf proceeded to calve A68, a tabular twice the size, 5,800 square kilometers. Pancake ice, close pack ice. Very close. Polinia, any water area in pack or fast ice other than a lead, not large enough to be called open water. So I guess it's kind of like a pond in the middle of an ice field. So anyway, got 2 copies of that. You never know. We have again, another dummy of Tokyo Ghoul, but it's on top of, this is Tokyo Ghoul 7. But again, to promote the book, they, what it's going to look like. There's the cover, there's ISBN. They put a fake cover on it. There's part of steel part of it, this tape there. I could probably remove that if necessary. But inside, it's actually Tokyo Ghoul 6. Again, just to show what the next one will look like. There's volume 1 from Viz Signature, $12.99. Rated for older teen. And Deja Vu, another volume 1. And then we have Call of Cthulhu by Evan Dorkin, Sarah Dwyer, and Aaron Helmiston for Dark Horse Press. Why have I not read this? I mean, those guys, Evan Dorkin, Sarah Dwyer. I mean, he is definitely on my list of read anything they write. He writes or draws. Wow. Not a lot of style, glamour to this, but I guess it tells a story. $13. Definitely read Their Beast of Burden. Juvenile fiction. That's why, I guess. Yeah. All right. Wow. Volume 1. I wonder if there's more. Okay. One pile left. And it's good, man, because I can see all the titles from here. So first we have, oh, this is beautiful. The Outsiders 50th Anniversary Edition. Again, I think they're coming up on 60th now, probably. This is a matte paper that they printed on. So it's got a texture to it. It's never before seen photos, letters, and more. For $20, this was published in a note from the author, who wrote it when she, I think it was like 16, 1967, 2017. So we're coming up on the 65th anniversary. But as you can see from those great pages, right, back, that's end photos and other things. Oh, here's kind of cool. All the different foreign edition covers. So anyway, did she not sign this? I thought I had her sign this. I think maybe this I think came through. I do have signed copies of her when I was at the bookstore, but this was after I left, much later after I left. So this came through the office. But it's a nice edition. If you got anyone from my generation who remembers the movie, what I cast, get it for them, you want to enjoy it. Here we have Hilo #1, a hardcover edition, The Boy Who Crashed to Earth, from Judd Winnick. Let me just see. Nope, it's regular hardcover. $14 from Random House. There's a series of books now. I don't know how many more there are. We'll go start another pile. We'll just start up there. Hopefully that doesn't fall over. Here we have The Invention of Hugo Cabret. Post Caldecott medal on there. Edition. Again, $25. I think I have a first edition somewhere. A hybrid book on the Caldecott, of course, for illustration. It has this beautiful, like, again, Brian Selznick has these wonderful pencil illustrations. The previous one I talked about is Harry Potter covers. But again, he did these silent, which works great for the movie, which for the story of this. And then, of course, they're followed by text chapters. So it is a hybrid book, but it's just brilliant. Yeah, nothing special under the cover. Movie was very good too. Okay, then we have from Japan. I mean, really from Japan. Oh no, Wandering Island, Volume 1. That's sort of a vinyl-y cover. Dark Horse, $14.99. There's an example. Sample? What's the difference? I don't know. Oh, here's a great book. I've recommended this to friends at the library. The Pros of Cons. Why did adult title? Allison Shirley, Lindsay Ribar, Michelle Schusterman. So, the plot is 4 girls are attending 4 different conventions at the London Convention Center, right? So that's where they're set up, kind of like McCormick. You can have different halls. So, one is attending a fan fiction convention. One is attending a high school drummer competition. One is helping her father at a taxidermist trade show. And the fourth, which doesn't really fit, it's ancillary to the story, is a Little Miss beauty contest. And of course, all these characters cross over. This is from 2018. This is prose, of course. I didn't realize it was 3 ladies all had 3 authors. I think they each wrote their own characters in here. But anyway, page. So again, they all learn to their paths cross. They all have their own dramas and their own solutions. Tra-la-la! Now in full color, Captain Underpants and the Wrath of the Wicked Wedgie Woman, the 5th epic novel of Dave Pilkey. Caldecott Honor Artist. What do we got the Caldecott Honor for? Just a moment, I gotta look that up. Because it's not unusual. I mean, it's not unusual, but it's also not common. Caldecott. Caldecott. Okay. It should be on the. There it is. Let's go to all. 1990s. Probably. Oh, story and paintings by Dave Pilkey. What? Wow. And this is not his typical style. Okay, very cool. I'll try and remember to put that in the comments below. But before Dogman, he was famous for Captain Underpants, also Ricky Ricotta, and one of my favorites, Hollowiner. So I don't think it's ever been cracked open. I think they're all this way now. I don't think you can get the black and white ones anymore. But I was reading them back when they were in black and white because, hey, here's a prose novel that's sort of cartoony about a superhero. Of course, the superhero is the. Put these down here. I'm afraid these are going to fall over. Secret identity of the superhero is principal. Here we have Anders in the Comics by Gregory McKay, Alan and Unwin, which is a British publisher. Not really known here. Black and white, straightforward. You know, just fun comics. Then we have, wow, this was a good one too, from First Second, The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. Again, keep an eye out. Basically anything she writes, you probably should read. Hardcover is available. I'm glad they're doing hardcovers now. She also did In Real Life with Cory Doctorow. But this came out, I want to say 5 years ago. On the back, it'll tell me. They always put on the back. 2018. Okay. Next, we have Brian Lee O'Malley's Seconds. Sans book jacket, I believe. Still a nice design. Yeah, Seconds. And balancing. Well, that's nice. He gave credits to the design assistant, lettering, and color. 2014. I think I have a hardcover somewhere with this. With the dust jacket and signed. Well, signed and sketched. Next, we have this wonderful reprint collection bargain book for $9.98. Check that out. How many pages? Let's see how many pages are in here. No, the pages aren't numbered because no one really needs page numbers in this. But this was a Barnes & Noble repackaging, Mad for Decades. So Mad did collections by decade. Here we have Mad about the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. And this is 2007 collection. Barnes & Noble just put those together, shrunk them down. So you start with the wonderful comics in black and white. Is this all? Yeah, this whole thing's black and white because most of Mad magazine was black and white until probably the last 15 years. Of course, what I like because this came through the Home Office. I think they noted put these little post-it notes in. For example, here's The Exorcist. Here's another one for scenes we'd like to see. Oh, yeah. The doctor's pronouncements. These are the 51 scenes we'd like to see driving the Golden Spike. Yeah, that's a good one. I think I'm seeing that. Seems we'd like to see the fighter who didn't rally. Good stuff. And The Faithful Dog. So those are yellow ones. I guess the purple one is the only thing, The Exorcist, that might be questionable. And here's a question for the audience. How many R-rated movies has Mad Magazine satirized over the years? Once Upon a Time in the West, I think, was, right? Although that was not quite a satirization, a direct satirization. Maybe it was. I don't know. I didn't watch the movie. Yeah. Get back to me on that. Or maybe I'll post it. And then also, we have another Mad 1001 Mad pages you must read before you die, crammed into 864 actual pages. So there you have a total. Again, $9.98 bargains might still be available. I'm sure Barnes & Noble probably has hundreds of copies on their website. And this is compilation new material, copyright 2009 by EC Publications. So again, I don't know what these might be other collections they did through the years. And before this, you rarely saw Mad collections in book format. Usually the only thing you could get were either the mass markets, based on various names, some of them original, some of them based on featuring specific artists like Don Martin, Dave Berg, Sergio Aragones, or the super special reprints. They were back in the 50s, early 50s, when they had just gone, mid 50s, when they just gone to magazine. They did issue some hardcovers, which are highly sought after now. I have one or two of those, which again are regular size, magazine sized hardcovers, about maybe 100 pages or so. Then I want to say it was before or during the actual Mad Magazine reprints that came out from New American. Then they went to Signet, and then of course once Warner Brothers acquired them, they came out under Warner Books. But I think the originals were out of New American Library, which is now in Signet, which I think are both now part of Penguin, which are now part of Random House Conglomerate. And then in the bottom, another Mad book. Again, you would have found this as a mass market paperback, Mad Spy vs. Spy, Black and White Ops by Proteus. And again, this is $7.98, Fall Rivers Press, bargain book. I don't know whose Isbin that is. That might be theirs. But again, you can see it's even marked. Bargain, humor, games. Probably for Matt, for Barnes & Noble. Yep, Falls Rivers Press is part of Barnes & Noble, as is Metro Books, as is Barnes & Noble, as is Sterling. And Monarch Notes they own, and Spark Notes they own. They're probably all, Cypher Sterling, they're probably all. So this is contents of this compilation originally appeared in a slightly different form in the third Mad dossier, the sixth Mad casebook on, and the fifth Mad report on Spy vs. Spy. So those are probably, yeah, the original paperbacks, although reformatted, it looks like. So there's an example of his. If you can, get the big honking Spy vs. Spy compendium, won the Eisner Award many years ago. If there's any, this one I got to show it to. This is just perfect. Look at that monkey. Cuban-born artist. That style, I don't really see it anywhere else. That smile. But again, there's a big, huge collection. Won the Eisner Award. I want to say at least 10 years ago, if not more, 15 maybe. If you're a big fan, definitely get that. And I think that might even include all of his other Mad work as well. And there we have it. That's how big that was. Is coming up on an hour. Not a bad selection of stuff. Mostly smaller things. Again, because of the way I had to pack that, these are all mostly, they're not digest size. That's somewhat smaller. This would probably be a digest size, or that actual Marvel Digest would be a digest size paperback. Now, most of these I think are like 9x6, which is common for middle grade and grade school books. Some books, adult books, are a little larger, a little taller. But there you have it. So a lot of manga, a lot of Scholastic, a lot of stuff aimed at kids because they were just down the hall from me on my floor. And they really didn't like comics there, even though, Renee Tegelmeyer and company were selling millions of copies. And eventually they saw the error of their ways, saying, look at all this money we're leaving off the table. But because they got so many review copies through their office, their division, they would have giant yellow laundry bins full of books. And we're talking, I want to say, possibly a yard deep, definitely 2 feet deep, if not more. And when they were filled up, during my lunch hour or whatever, or after work when everybody had left, and I would start digging, piling up books on the side, getting to the very bottom because I didn't want to miss anything. Sometimes I grab stuff from my nieces and nephews for gifts. Other times, if it was a comic, I'd grab it. And some picture books too. So I want to say almost all of this box that I just showed you were review copies. I don't think I paid a penny for this. What I paid for it, of course, was moving expenses. But there you are. Some of that stuff, like the Great Superman stories that I bought, those older books, those older pre-95, maybe, or bought, but I don't think there are too many in here. And I knew I already had a copy of that. But again, it was cheap. And it's like a collection. So I thought, I'm going to get a second copy. And maybe 10 years from now, I'll sell it for $50. Who knows? So that is that. Comments, questions, statements? I guess those are comments. Queries, comments, conjecture? Anyway, let me know. Post below. I'll try and answer them. Hope you enjoyed this. Anything you liked, or anything you think that ties into this that you liked, and say, hey, that reminds me of this, feel free to share. I don't buy a lot of books now. I don't even have a lot of time to read the books I do have. But I'm always interested in finding out new stuff. And but if I was going to recommend stuff in here, Amulet, check that out. It's a good series, really good series. Read everything he's done, besides Amulet, like Flight. Spongebob Comics, I didn't show it here because they're larger size graphic novels, but the Simpsons graphic novels, which again are the comics that are collected. People didn't even know they were comic books, but once they did the graphic novels and they saw them, they were, I don't say flying off the shelves, but they sold really well in my store. So that stuff that's I recommend. Some stuff like the Zen pencils. I don't know what he's doing now. That's Ongtan, AUNGTHAN. I hope he still has a website somewhere. Those were good. Those went viral on Facebook, I was going to say about 5 years ago, and then I don't know if I've seen him since. Hopefully he's doing well. And of course, Dave Pilkey, Captain Underpants, Dogman, Pros of Cons. If you want to read a good fangirl sort of book. I mean, I read it as a 40-plus person, 40-plus male. Yeah. was enjoyable. Good story. And I had extra copies of that I actually handed off to other people. And I said, hey, you might enjoy this, and your daughter, your teenage daughter, might enjoy it. So I never asked them if they've read it afterwards. I just, let go and let God. Whatever. And God saying, hey, leave me out of this. I joke, I kid. Unless I can fit there. Why? So what's your why? Let's leave this for the top, I think. Alrighty. Anyway. So, 1 hour. I gotta go. You've been much too kind. I'm blathering now. I could go on for another hour. So, thanks for watching. See you soon. Subscribe, share, comment, repost, whatever you want to do. I'm easy. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye.